Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome to a brand new session from me and Enterprise DNA. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a different one. I was coming into my office this morning thinking about how this was going to run, and I I'm going to keep it pretty flexible. I'm going to keep it pretty flexible in terms of what I cover here, but I truly just want to get I want to really pump you up about what is possible these days with AI. We're going through such a significant transformation. It's happening so fast, but I'm not sure everyone is aware of what is actually possible here. It is truly, truly mind-blowing what you can do. And some of you who have watched some recent videos from me, some recent courses I've put out, some of the recent sessions I've run, you'll sort of be catching the drift here. But for those who haven't, and those who just need reminding, there's the biggest change I think in our jobs, our roles as data professionals is happening right now than I can remember. Definitely in my career up until now, and also just as far back as I can remember. There's just an incredible empowerment going on, and I want all of you who are associated with Enterprise DNA, who are on this call with me, to really grab it with both hands and become become a super data expert. You know what I actually have come up with, and I'm going to probably take this a little bit further, but I've I was mulling over, you know, there's a new era going on, right? So what's the new name? What's the new job role? What can we call ourselves? And when we know all these tools, right? Because I just think being a data analyst or being a data scientist or being an app developer is it's too confined. It's not it's not appreciating all the things that you can do now. And so I've come up with this name, and let me know what you think. But I think I might take this a little bit further and maybe like write a few articles or create a few more videos about this. But I've come up with a name with the help of ChatGPT, by the way, of Omni Data and AI Expert, an Omni Data and AI Expert. And I think that that encompasses all of the all of the ideas around what I think we can become, what anyone who works with data can become, right? Because historically, you just worked in Excel and you just built reports, and then we moved to Power BI and Tableau, and obviously there was data scientists who worked in Python, there was data wranglers who worked in SQL, there was data scientists and statisticians who worked in R, right? You know, but you can do all of these things now. You can literally do all of these things. You can also build apps very quickly. You can build websites very quickly. You can build workflow automations as literally just going to be natural language going forward, right? And so the Omni Data and AI Expert really, I think, encompasses all of that. Anyway, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? I'm really keen to sort of get a bit of engagement here and get a conversation going around your thoughts of what's going on here. But you know, I'm in a like personally on a bit of an evolution myself. Like I think I can just do so much more now. I don't have to write all this Python code. I don't have to write all this SQL code, but I can use it. I can use these tools like I use Power Query without having to know how to write the Power Query code. And so that's the journey that I want to take. I want to take us all on. And I just want to just walk through during this session a few ideas around how we can do that. How we can empower ourselves quickly with the help of and also with the help of Enterprise DNA and others on the team. To really take things to a new level for yourself personally, but also for your organization or for whatever entrepreneurial pursuit that you wanna pursue. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen here. Just give me a second. Okay, so I'm just in the platform here. Um, by the way, one of the best ways to really practice, and we might get into this shortly, to really practice a lot of these things that we might cover today, is to get involved in workouts or builds. Like actually build something in real in in real time, and something totally actionable, and use and support yourself with these AI assistants like ChatGPT, right? And learn really fast that way. Obviously, we've got a lot of new videos that have come out around how to use it, and we've got a lot more. I've got about 10 coming out this month alone around AI enablement. Uh, but put it into action. Put it into action with our workouts. Okay, very crucial. Hopefully, you can see me zooming there. But you can all of these are opportunities to really upskill yourselves in something that you're not familiar with. And that's actually what I have personally been doing myself. I've been using these workouts as a way to really empower my own abilities and a few other things. Okay. Just diverting back, I'm gonna use ChatGPT a bit here, but this was I sort of had an idea in my mind, and I wanted to explore it more with ChatGPT, which is what I think we should all be doing. Honestly, I think having some sort of intelligent assistant helping us refine our thoughts it is powerful, super powerful. So really encourage you to use it in a similar way. So Omnidata and AI expert sounds great. This suggests a professional who is highly skilled in all aspects of data, from data analysis to data science, and also an expert in artificial intelligence. The Omni prefix emphasizes the breadth of their data expertise, while AI expert acknowledges their proficiency in the specific field of artificial intelligence. It definitely encapsulates all the roles you mentioned. Now, AI expert, I think, can be used it could be used in a few different ways. I don't think you need to be an expert in neural networks or large language models to call yourself an AI expert. You just need to know how to use AI. You know, that to me is that why I think it's fine to add that on there. But Omni data and AI expert, you know, I just think this new paradigm requires a new name, and that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking about. Anyway, you let me know. You let me know what you think. Okay, so how can we really, this is a real pump up session. I want you to be as excited as I am about what the future holds for anyone in the data space, right? Any tool that you use from, and that we cover, we have coverage with in some way, right? Any tool you use can be empowered significantly by ChatGPT or other AI assistants that I already see out there, but are coming very soon, right? We've got co-pilots inside of the Microsoft universe, but we've got Bard, which is in Google, and I'm sure there's more coming out very soon. Okay. Now, one of the things that I've been doing quite a bit lately is I've been asking, ChatGPT, can you set up a program for me? Something like this. And this is something that I recommend prompting as well. Um, can you act as my beta tutor? I want to learn Python really fast. Can you set up a program for me? Okay, and so you can I've been trying this out with like lots of things like Power BI, SQL, so on and so forth, right? Maybe I want to be maybe like a little bit more specific here. Okay, as that's working along, I want to show you something else here as well. So if we jump to the forum here, forum, Enterprise DNA's forum. Okay, now I want to show you this really cool feature. It's called mermaid.live. Okay. You know what I really like personally is um I love mind maps, right? Like a mind map around something. And this amazing tool enables you to create mind maps. Now, I would never ordinarily, but the thing about it is like you need to learn how to code, right? You need to know how to code this thing. And I would never want to learn how to code this editor, right? Like this open source project. I would never want to learn that, and I bet you hardly anyone does. But guess what? ChatGPT um, knows how to build this very specific code, right? So just think about what this is. This is enabling far more in terms of just tools that we would ordinarily never use, right? Like I think maybe 100 times the amount of people can use this tool now because it can automatically write this out within here. Okay. Now check this out. Using mermaid.live, can you help me create a mind map of the above content? Um, I need the full code to paste in. Okay. So all I need to do is ask that, and it should come up. So it's mermaid.js, like it's a specific type of code, right? And amazingly, ChatGPT knows how to write this, right? And so, you'll see in a second once I put this in here. So if I show you what an example is, um, so this is a sequence. So there's lots of different options here. So you can even do like data models, user journeys. And so I guess the only the thing here is that on mind map, here we go. See something like this, right? Yeah, I love these visual tools for learning. Okay, and let's see what it's come up with here. Okay, so I can copy the code. Okay, let's see, and then paste it in here. Okay, so it's giving me something. It's probably not exactly what I wanted. I actually probably want it more like this, right? So I'm going to change it. I'm going to say I actually more want a mind map like this. A learning roadmap. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it actually makes a difference. But I just would never write this out before. And this is the same for all code, right? For all code across all different things. So I guess I'm using ChatGPT to empower my learning in many different ways. And that's something that I think, you know, we should be doing across everything, right? And by the way, like you can also use our own Edna AI. This can actually create a lot of these things for us as well. Okay, so let's just grab this here. Okay, it's not particularly working that well. I might have to do like a little bit of error checking here. Okay, let's just see if we can quickly work it out. And I'll jump into some other things shortly. Okay, we'll give it one more try and then we'll move on. But anyway, really have a look into this one. Have a look into this example. You can go full screen, and so you can use these as links, right? And put them into your Evernote or put them into your Notion or put them somewhere in Microsoft Teams as a reference point. Yeah, I just love the fact that I just did not have to write anything out, right? It just happened automatically for me. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this will work, but we'll give it a try. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'll leave it. There's just something not quite right there. It's not the best example, but maybe if I simplified it down or something, it might work. It doesn't feel like it's actually writing it correctly anyway. But if you want to just check out one I did do, check yeah, it's not writing it correctly for some reason. Maybe it's just getting a little bit confused. Here was another one I actually worked up the other day. So let's see if I can get this going. So this is a bit more like a a flow diagram, right? So day yeah, and so day one, and then we get to then day two flow down to this, day three flow down to that. So there's variations. There's variations on what we can do, right? Okay, so that's just one idea for you that I found recently, and I'm sure there's many ideas like this, right? There's many little open source projects that we just and as soon as I come up with them, I'll let you know, and I will definitely share. Now here's some other ideas. Okay, so obviously we've got a breakdown of Python here. Okay, what if we want to do something similar or some other tools, right? SQL. I want to focus on the the data user searching for unique insights. Okay, so we can really customize it however we like. And by the way, I'm using ChatGPT 4 here, which is slower but supposedly smarter. It very much is from my testing. ChatGPT 3.5 is faster and can really do actually a lot of the things you need very, very well. So this will write out, particularly for like 3.5 for code, for generating a lot of code, right? It can do it really, really fast. So this is pretty detailed, right? This is pretty detailed. SQL with Python or R, and we can really, really, really dive into these deeper as we go, right? Like we can say, okay, okay, let's expand on section one, walk me me through it. And what you can do as you're going through this, right, is you can use certain features on our platform. What you can do is you can come to here, use the data library, go and grab some data, feed it into a SQL system and start practicing your SQL. Okay. There's plenty of free tools where you can practice SQL code and try to understand exactly what is actually going on in the data sets. And then if you want to do more heavy lifting, you can go to more enterprise tools, or what's happening very, very soon is I believe you'll be able to query using SQL inside of Microsoft Fabric. So if you haven't watched my Microsoft Fabric video that came out the other day, definitely do so. But within here, there's a um, data engineering section, which is where I think you're going to be able to run SQL queries. I don't think it's particularly ready just yet, potentially, but this you'll be able to do SQL queries and just really test your data, just like you would, and it's going to be as easy to connect to data as it is to just connect to Excel, right? And so, to be able to do that is powerful in the Microsoft environment. Okay, cool. It's given me a few things to just work through here. So, you know, just so informative to have this as an assistant just sitting right next to you. I mean, I've just been blown away by how much it's changed my own role, right? Even Power BI users, the amount of help you can get on M code, the amount of help you can get on DAX code, the amount of help you can just get around the Power BI environment. I actually created a course recently, which is not released just yet, but it's coming very soon, around how to use ChatGPT for Power BI. And I was blown away, like absolutely blown away by how well it knows the entire interface and how it can walk you through basically anything that you want to do in Power BI, how it can walk you through exactly where to go to do specific transformations, how to optimize Power Query code, even recommendations around what transformations and cleanups to do for particular columns and tables, what conditional columns to create, what customs columns to create. Just it was unbelievable, unbelievable. And then when I moved to DAX as well, It was able to write all of the simple DAX formulas for me. It was able to give me recommendations on the model that I should build. It's crazy, absolutely crazy, right? And that's just like I would say Power BI is one of the more complex things because of the way that there's a model involved and you need to understand how the model actually works. And it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And so this particular course is not ready just yet, but it will be coming out very, very soon. It will be coming out maybe within the next week or so. So it's going to be released during this month of the AI enablement month. Okay, so we've got SQL. Now I want to do another one. And I'm going to say okay. I would, I'm this excited about this change that I truly believe, as you know, I think you can be an omni data and AI expert. I truly believe that you can learn tools probably 4 to 5 times faster than you would have historically. And just think about that. Think about all of these things that you can learn, right? So with a bit of application, what would have taken you the amount of time, like to really master Power BI, I reckon would have with application would have taken you 2 to 3 months. But I believe in that time, within 2 to 3 months, you can truly master with application all of these tools, all of these data tools, right? Not knowing how to actually write out the code, right, just saves you so much time in learning, but also in implementation, right? There's so much time in implementation. Like I'm seeing and hearing, in podcasts I watch and YouTube videos that I watch, I am legitimately seeing like 2 times productivity improvements, 3 times productivity improvement, just because you don't have to write out this code. Like if you go and look at like BI notebooks or complex enterprise database implementations with SQL over the top of it, like there is a lot of code. And the reality is you can get support to write all of that. Like just that alone just saves you so much time. And so that's something to get really pumped up about, in my view. Okay, so now we've got an R um, an R example here as well. And the thing about these languages, like I'm not going to say that I'm an expert in these at all just yet, but I intend to become. I intend to become experts in every analytical tool that I can absolutely find. I was actually having a look at this the other day. Check this out. This is a really interesting, um, interesting website. I saw this actually in the Microsoft Build conference. This was actually referenced. This was actually referenced in maybe by Satya Nadella, I think. Um, But anyway, check out, like there's a lot of tools here, right? There's a lot of tools. Um, but when I look at this landscape, right, I just think how much more of these things are achievable. That's all I see. You know, like there's nothing stopping me becoming a Tableau expert, a Looker expert, a Click expert, a Mode, an Alteryx. What are some of these other ones? Airtable's simple. Um, yeah, there's some exciting things going on in this universe, even data science notebooks, right? Like, um, we can learn all that. Like, we can learn all these. Notable is amazing as well. If you haven't, there's actually a Notable plugin inside of ChatGPT, which can run. Like, if you haven't seen a video on it, it can run Notable. It can actually run, I haven't set up the account just yet, but I've seen a video. You can actually run entire BI notebooks just with a bit of natural language. And it actually writes all the Python and SQL, whatever's required on your data set to actually make it happen automatically. And so that's another exciting thing, right? That's coming out very, very soon. Deep Note is another really good UI for BI notebooks. Databricks is a very popular tool for like database infrastructure in a lot of cases. And even when I come down here, this here is an open source section, okay, open source infrastructure. So there's a lot going on in this space as well. But if I come along here, we have a lot of visualization things that we can learn as well. Like like one of my big things to get across today, right? And it's good to look at this from a top level down, I find, because We can do all this. We can literally do all this. This is so achievable now when it historically it absolutely wasn't. And there's so many ways that you can just find data and get data. You know, there's nothing to me, there's nothing that should be stopping anything right now. You should just be absolutely leaning into finding insights and getting insights in any possible way you can into the hands of those who need it, right? There's another one here. Yeah, so stat tools and languages, right? So here's a whole range of new things that we can get into. Even email ops and AI infrastructure. Yeah. So those are sort of the main ones. Those are sort of the main ones from this one. But really like make sure this link gets out to you all because this is a really good way to see the potential now. See the potential. Like I was actually even I'll just show you an example of one. I know there's not as much structure to this as there normally is, but hopefully this is just a good chat about what's possible. Like this to me is this is my call to action of, really getting you super excited and um, ready to go of around what's possible, around where you can take things. So here's a couple of cool examples that I found through searching through this. There was one. I think it might have been, well, one of them is Hex. This is quite an interesting one. I'll open a new tab. So this is so you can use SQL here, connect and use SQL to find insights and to create different, create your insights in a sort of a cloud-based environment. Yeah, I know this is not Power BI, but there's like, if you weren't a SQL expert, you would never even touch this tool, right? But this is just a unique and new way to find layers on top of data where it sits right now, right? There's just, to me, there's just nothing should be stopping us from actually just diving in and getting more done. Maybe it was equals. Let me have a look here. So this was sort of like a spreadsheet app. This is quite interesting. And I think they had some AI embedded into it as well. Where was this other one? This Plotly's actually gotten quite popular. This came out of open source, where you can use Python to create data apps. So data apps is not something that you could create within Power BI very easily, right? Like it's very much like inside the organization. But what if you wanted to create a data app that you deployed to a website? This is a way to do that in a reasonably achievable way. Look at this, 12 million downloads. Like this is popular. This is really, really popular. You could even get into things like computer vision if you really wanted to, right? Absolutely. Like you can do this now. You don't need to write the code like we had to in the past. Like this is just achievable. And I have no doubt that there's going to be more and more, AI related toolings that come out for very specific use cases that we might be able to jump on board, very, very soon. So having a solid foundation across all these unique things is a solid idea. Okay, let me just check. This Astrato is another really interesting one. What's this one? Red. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so this is an interesting tool, right? It's very much Excel based, but it connects to a lot of these like new tools that are getting more and more popular, like Airtable, Notion. Look, it's outside the Microsoft universe, but doesn't matter? Doesn't matter anymore? Like obviously something's going on at Microsoft with this fabric, right? So to me, it doesn't even matter. It's just where you can get the insights into the hands of decision makers. That's the most important thing. That's what we should really be focused on. Cool. Okay, so I won't go too much deeper into that there, but hopefully you can get this link and have a play around and have a look. One of the things that I think I'm going to do personally is I'm going to start demoing a lot more of these other technologies on our channel, maybe even create very like some short courses on it. This one here, actually, obviously, I love this. I love this one here. This is a way to create AI models with no code, right? no-code AI models, ways that and putting them into production. This is a sort of stuff that is really hard. Used to be really hard and really expensive, but now it's just being totally democratized. So much easier. Okay, like even connecting to APIs is easy now. You can ask ChatGPT. You can say, I want to learn a lot more about APIs. How do I learn and test out how to connect to these? Okay, so and just get advice on this. One of the things that I did recently was I actually I went and set up my own ChatGPT API. Like I wanted to connect to the ChatGPT API and practice with it, practice what's possible. And I did it. I did it like within an hour. From really not having that much experience, I was able to go and create my API with ChatGPT. I was then able to connect to it in a Power BI, BI notebook in Google Colab, I think it was, and I was able to start running tests and trials with an API connection. And that was the first time I'd ever connected to an API or even got involved in any APIs. Okay, so this is another area for the Omni data and AI expert that you can get into is APIs, open source, whole range of other things. Check out this. Check out this. I'll find Colab, Google Colab. See if I can show you what I did. So Google Colab is a way to run data science tests or machine learning applications or even connect to APIs. And so I created this a while back, OpenAI testing. And so all of this, right? So from knowing nothing to creating this took me less than an hour. And I was getting the code written for me. I was practicing how to insert prompts into the API, and then I was getting answers from the API. This is from ChatGPT's API. I was getting these answers, and I was doing, tests. Some things didn't work. I fixed it, so on and so forth. Okay, so I was able, from knowing absolutely nothing, be able to do this in an hour. Okay, and so this is just one example. There's APIs everywhere for everything, right? And you can connect to them and build stuff. Build. Like that is what I want to get across here, and what I will be absolutely promoting as much as I possibly can going forward. Okay, so I'm running at a million miles an hour here, just trying to get across all these things that I was thinking about over the last week or so. Yeah, what do you all think? What do you all think about what's going on here? Are you as excited as I am? I really, you know, I don't want us to be confined to something just because it's the way we've always done things. I don't think Power BI is going to be, yes, pardon me, is going to be the only winner here. There's going to be new things that are popping up. I think that you know we've got to the market is moving so fast that we all have to evolve. We all have to evolve and become more omni experts and everything. And I think that if you don't embrace it, you're probably going to be in trouble. I think you've got to embrace it and become more productive, because that's what everyone else is going to do. Everyone else is going to be who has a bit of application and is a bit of smart about them is gonna realize this. Actually, one of the other things that amazed me is Brian and the team is really into learning about regex. Okay, so um, now regex, I don't even really know what regex is, but it's like a data transformation language, and I didn't really know what it was. And then Brian was showing me a few things, and it's kind of amazing. And did you know you can actually call regex inside of Power Query? You can actually use this inside of Power Query. It can really create transformations that you would never dream of doing, and simplifying things like crazy. And how to use this in, like, I'm gonna get even Power Query. Can you create a learning plan for me? Like, just think about how we used to learn this. Like, we used to Google, we used to watch like a lot of videos on YouTube, um, and on our platform, and we were very specific. We were very much like refined to a specific use case. But I want you to think broader now. I want you to think much broader around what you can learn. I mean, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but just go for it. Just absolutely go for it. Learn as much as you can, as quickly as you possibly can. And I think we will all be better for it. We will all be better for it. Let's not get stuck in ways of historically doing things. The world has changed. It has literally changed. The way you can learn has changed, and what's possible has changed. And there's going to be even more change, no doubt about it. Okay, so regular expressions are incredibly powerful tools for data cleaning and manipulation in many program languages, although it is worth noting that at the time, Power language doesn't natively support regex. Well, I've seen it. I've seen it. You might use regex in the source system or in Power BI with DAX, or you might um, have to create somewhat complex M code to mimic. Well, Brian actually showed me how you can incorporate this. However, I will provide a learning plan for understanding regex. Understand the basics of regex. Start by learning what regex is and what it is used for. Basics, regex patterns. Okay. Um, let's dive into number one. So let's understand the basics of regex. Okay, one thing we actually have is we have a workout that has been recently developed. So let me find this workout on regex specifically. Okay, so regular expressions run by Christoph. If I jump into here, so you see here we have we're building up a catalog of ways that you can learn from regex. Okay. Purpose of this exercise is to detect fragments of given text that meet requirements. Okay, so we're providing all of these learning opportunities for you within like all of these things that we're setting up within the within our forum, within our see Brian's got involved here as well. So you know what like half my battle is. I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. And you know what I think enterprise DNA is going to become? It's it's about showcasing all these things that we probably like most people don't even know about. Like I didn't even know about regex. Never really even heard of it until recently. And so because our world has expanded, our opportunities have expanded, enterprise DNA needs to become that facilitator. It needs to become that facilitator of all of this the world opening up to us. And that's what I think we're going to like very quickly evolve to. So like what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with that? I just am sitting here thinking, wow, I personally can do 5 times more. And you know, whilst I feel like I'm very well versed in Power BI, I actually want to do 5 times more. I want to do all these new things that I haven't done in the past. And it was very similar to like when Power BI came along, I was a heavy Excel user, a heavy VBA user, and I was using Excel, and I was like, man, this is actually just way better. This is way better than writing VBA and trying to create reports automatically from the Excel experience. And I'm starting to feel the same way. Like I like Excel never went anywhere. Power BI is not going to go anywhere. VBA is still used probably more than Power BI right now. Um, but there's new ways of doing things, and that's just how I personally feel. That's how I personally feel about where things currently are at. So yeah, I mean it's happening very fast, and so keen to get your feedback on what you think, and also like where do you want us to go? Where do you want us to go as Enterprise DNA as an organization? I'm keen to hear, and I'll be happy to jump on a call with anyone who wants to really discuss this further. But in my eyes, we're about empowerment and enablement of all these new things that are happening, that are coming, that are being released. And I want to be at the forefront. I want to be at the forefront of all of these things that are happening, so that we can empower a massive user base, of users around a whole range of new things. That's where I personally want to be. That's what personally gets me excited, gets me up in the morning. Yeah, and I want you all to feel, come along for the journey and feel the same way. That would sort of be my my thought process, my thinking there. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, so we'll go for a little bit longer here, maybe for another 5 to 10 minutes or so. But what else? What else? Let's ask ChatGPT. What other other languages should I be drilling into as omni data expert? Let's ask ChatGPT, see what it comes up with. Machine learning is something that I haven't really got into as well, but there's no reason why we can't become like true machine learning experts. It's just using most of the time it's just using Python, right? And we can get support here, you know, from ChatGPT specifically, but also, you know, I intend to create some courses on how to do a lot of this stuff, right? Java, MATLAB, Scalar, big data processing. Julia is Julia, I think, is an open source project. Okay. You create a plan for me around Julia. So imagine if you could, and you can, like, that is the crazy thing. And I'm gonna show you, like, I'm literally gonna show the world how you can learn all these things. Okay. I'm literally gonna show you. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna show everyone step by step how you can learn all these and become an omni data expert. That is my sort of renewed mission personally. Yeah, I want to become um one of the most well versed and most competent omni data professionals that there is. And that is something that I can get truly excited about, and really make the biggest difference, globally. And that's what I want to do. That's what I personally want to do going forward. Okay, so Julie is a performance dynamic high performance dynamic programming language designed to address the requirements of high performance numerical and scientific computing. Here's a suggested learning path: introduction to Julia, understanding the needs for Julia and where it fits in the ecosystem, learn to install Julia and set up the programming environment. Boom. Okay. Do you even need books anymore? I mean, that is a legitimate question, right? Like, um, I mean, I remember sitting through some pretty dense textbooks around how to learn Excel and VBA and DAX and stuff. Like, do you really even need books anymore? I mean, it's totally debatable. Totally debatable in my opinion, right? Like, if you can just get a custom tutor on all these things, then you can go through step by step. I mean, you can basically create 80 to 90% of what is in a book within this chatbot and bot experience. I mean, isn't that just crazy? Isn't that absolutely just mind blowing? Crazy, absolutely crazy. So even over, okay, so let's do, okay, point 10 here was data frames, data manipulation, right? So, I guess a way to understand what this is, it's like encode, like very similar to encode, where a data frame is kind of like a query, that we would make into the Power Query system, and then we would manipulate it from there. So similar sort of concept. Point 10 involves learning how to create plots and visualizations using Julia. Plotting is a crucial part of data analysis and scientific computing, and Julia provides several packages to create high quality plots. Cool. Okay, so it just writes it all for me. Now, one of the other things about ChatGPT, by the way, is that 3.5. I find 3.5 is sometimes better to use if you just want code. Can you give me some examples of DAX formula patterns from Power BI? Okay. It actually gets quite confused about, like, you see how it gets quite confused about DAX. 3.5 is not as good for DAX formulas. There's just no doubt in my mind. I created a podcast about this with Brian from the team a while back. It's not as good at DAX. Like, if you want to write DAX formulas, it's much better to do it in 4.0. But still, it pumps out code like very, very fast. In terms of like for SQL code, okay, the SQL code is pretty good, I think. Probably just being trained on a lot more data. Okay. What about Julia code? We can create our own learning experience through this, right? And by the way, if you want to actually use this, I want to learn Julia programming language really, really fast. Can you set up a simple learning program for me? Okay, so this is Enterprise DNA's AI assistant. Okay, and it can build a lot of these things for you, and we can within the Enterprise DNA environment, you can track all of the things that you're working through. So this is quite a long answer, but sometimes it can come back with quite fast answers. Okay, so short. Here's a simple learning plan. Start by installing Julia. Boom, 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 boom. And there you go. Okay, you can also click here, go to AI page, and you can get into this environment here. One of the things that we've set up here is this Q&A mode. Okay, so check this out. This is actually a really cool way to learn. You can go Q&A, okay, and then it says prompt is a required field, Julia programming. Okay, so check this out. You can learn by getting Edna AI to ask you questions. Okay, so I'm going to type in Julia programming, ask the bot, and it's going to ask me a question, and then I have to provide an answer. Okay, great. Here's a question for you on Julia. What is the significance of multiple dispatch in Julia programming language? I'm not really sure about this. My guess is that it's about evaluating code in various different ways. Yeah. So I mean, I don't even know, but I'm gonna answer in a natural language way, and it's gonna provide me some feedback. And this is a way of learning is actually really quite interesting. And I've been using this myself to learn a few things. Your answer is partially correct. Multiple dispatch is a feature in Julia that allows the same function to be implemented differently based on the types and values of its arguments. In other words, it allows Julia to choose the correct method of a function to call based on the parameter. Okay, and then we asked you another question. Here's another question. What is a module in Julia programming language, and what is it used for? Used for specific analysis packages. Okay, so I'm just guessing here, but I'm learning as I work through this, right? This is a unique form, a unique way of learning. Okay, I'm partially correct. Well, I'm doing pretty well. I'm just basically guessing here. A module is a container for related functions, types, and other objects in Julia. Cool. Okay, so look, I know this is like pretty random, but I'm just showing you the potential here, right? Showing the potential. I'm gonna just jump back to here and showcase a few things. So if we were to come up here, how many is this? This is 8. Add on various other things like Excel formulas, VBA formulas, Power BI DAX formulas, M code. What else have we got? Even things like, it's Tableau coding, Tableau formulas. If you want to get even more fancy, you can do like JavaScript, JSON, regex. All of these things are truly, truly possible. And to me, I think there is a new way of learning, like a new way to learn things faster with AI. And I don't think I've quite nailed it. Like I've given you a few ideas here, but there definitely is a new way of working through this material and forming in your own mind how to use it, how to architect it, how to engineer it, because that's more so what we need to master here is the sort of architecting of solutions. And if we can do that right, the code and the grunt work and the everyday work can be done automatically. So it's more like we need to really master the high level architecture of these things. And I think what you'll find is that a lot of them are quite similar. They've got probably quite similar setups in terms of how you architect things. And so there's probably a way to like master that architecture piece, and then a lot of these can just be placed into or fit into you can build them up like Lego, but you just have that overall sort of design architecture in your mind around what you want to achieve. So I think there's a new way of mastering these things, and I'm going to figure it out, and I'm gonna teach it to you. I'm gonna show you how you can do it through many means, through our many distribution means of our content. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna probably round off here, I think. Thanks for joining me on this one. I know there wasn't as much structure to this, but like, you know, I'm finding my way here as well. And I'm going to show you everything I learn, everything I figure out. I'm going to showcase it to you, just like I did with Power BI, just like we did with Power BI as a business. And we're going to empower the world around so much more. If I did a sort of like a mental assessment the other day, and I was like, how much? And I was talking to a couple of others in the team about this. It's like, how much do you think is not being analyzed, is not being automated out there in your current environment, right? I assessed probably about 90% of what can be done is not being done. Like there is probably 10 times more that could be done that is not being done right now. Like truly, I truly, truly thought that. Okay, and that's from everything across the data universe, from analysis to predictions to modeling to automation to app development. I would somewhat guess 10 times is not like the amount that is being done now is not being done. So just think about what opportunities that presents to the omni data and AI expert. It's unreal. It's unbelievable. You could add value within an organization. You could get entrepreneurial and go sell your time and in a freelance capacity. Um, you could teach about all these things that are possible. You can build apps that are around all these things to enable some of that. Crazy. If you are a data person right now, I think you are in the if you are in the best place to add value out of anyone, out of absolutely anyone at this point. You know, um, it's all about just application. That's what it's all about. Okay, I said this was a pump up session. Hopefully, I've got you somewhat engaged and really excited about what's coming. The world has changed. Everything is evolving. Enterprise DNA is evolving as well. That is just the reality of where we're at, right? Where things are at in our space right now. And I'm going to bring you along on the journey. We're going to create enormous value together. So really, really keen to keep going on this new stream of thought, and yeah, wanna do it all together. Okay, let's round out. Thank you all, and look forward to chatting again soon. Yeah.